Today we had a Supreme Court strike down a gun restriction law in a New York state. And now the 35% of people that the New York state authorities thought didn't have a reason to carry around a gun, concealed weapon, aside from, the ability to do like sport shooting or hunting, they're all going to get a gun now. And then one has to imagine a bunch of other people are going to get guns because there's more people carrying guns. And there's going to be some people who are just like, oh, I didn't even realize I could do that. And now I don't have to fill out any form for that, or just can't deny me the permit. So we're going to have a lot more guns around in New York State and a bunch of other states. We are still waiting on the Roe v. Wade decision, essentially. Here is Sean Hannity and Ted Cruz talking about that decision, and they are in full, so overblown mode, because I think they realize, this is not what the American public wants.
It's weird that they can't just say, oh, we're ending abortion. Let's all be really enthusiastic about it. They have to say, oh, everyone's just overreacting to this. It's not really what they say.
This is not really, we're going to downplay our win here.
And now we know that there are direct threats. We're probably going to get a decision on Roe v. Wade this week. If we get that decision this week, there are groups that are calling for people to riot. We reported on it last night. What is Joe Biden, what are these big cities doing to protect people in light of a threat that we now know is public?
Well, let me start with where you ended, which is I think the Supreme Court the next week is going to issue its decision. I think it's going to overturn Roe versus Wade. That's the right decision.
Doesn't their session end this week?
They could do it next week, so it could be tomorrow, it could be next week. We don't know for sure when the opinion will issue, but it's soon. It's within the next few days. That's the right decision. That will return the question of abortion to the elected legislatures. That's where the Constitution left it. That's where it belongs. But I think the response is exactly what you said, which is the organized left. They're going to engage in riots. They're going to engage in violence. We're going to see a reprise, I fear, of the Black Lives Matter and the Antifa riots, where they're going to try to use political violence to advance their ends. And the Department of Justice needs to step in and stop them. I halfway expect the Attorney General to be rioting alongside them because this Department of Justice has been so politicized. Now, you mentioned in the first...
Okay. The layers of irony here are amazing, that Cruz is saying this stuff as he's talking about the show trials of January 6th, and he's talking about political violence. I think they're also trying to say that the DOJ is politicized, because I think they know that there's some political, I think they know that the subpoenas are starting to flow around January 6th.
It's pre-working the refs. That's what that is, yeah.
And it's also sort of completely diminishing the import of the Supreme Court reversing an individual right that has been established for 50 years. 50 years we have lived in this country with the right to an abortion, a constitutional right to abortion. This is the first time in the history of the country that the Constitution will be interpreted in a way to diminish or reverse a right that had been established by the Supreme Court, certainly after 50 years. And they're worried about Antifa riots. I mean, this is what it is basically like saying, I punch you in the face and I can't believe the way you reacted.
I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to see the narrative that everyone protesting in the streets post this, abortion rights being rolled back are Antifa, fascist, equivalents on the left. Because in reality, a lot of people are really pissed off. A lot of people who would normally not find themselves driven towards political action are finding themselves driven towards political action, maybe for the first time, because like you said, this is a law being rolled back that, despite constant warnings from advocates around America, people had in their head thought this has been established, this is established law, something like gay marriage for a lot of people. It's something that cannot be rolled back. And now we're seeing that a lot of the things that people take as civil rights are, more or less constantly up for vote every 4 years, depending on the age of 1 to 9, geriatrics, more or less. So, I think that the illusion that the Supreme Court was a stable vehicle for exercising the majority of our, needs when it comes to civil rights is being rapidly proven to be just like false. Like, even if we were to expand the court, there's just too much volatility there. When it comes to like actually ensuring that people can plan for the future, when it comes to things like family planning or, the right to vote.
I'm actually a little surprised that Ted Cruz didn't also stuff in there the security and lives of the Supreme Court justices, because that's another thing they tried to shimmy this all towards over the past couple of weeks, because one individual went down to Kavanaugh's home, didn't even bring his gear with him, was having a mental episode and called the police from blocks away to say, hey, I need you to pick me up. I'm having terrible thoughts. And all of a sudden that turned into Mitch McConnell's got to pass that bill right away to save the lives of the Supreme Court justices. Of course, as the Supreme Court just votes today to strike down that New York gun law where, people could basically conceal carry wherever now, can't have those laws blocking that in certain states that want that blocked like it is in New York. But apparently outside of a Supreme Court justice's house, that's sacred ground. We can't have that going on there.
Well, and the Supreme Court justice lives on sacred ground, but an election worker, well, that's fair game. Right. That's basically,
politics.
That was the nature of basically yesterday's, what we learned yesterday or the day before, I guess.